All right, so let's go back to our system here. So we talked about the master system, right? So when you think about your calendar system, there's two components. One, you have the master system, which is completely digital, and then we have the servant system, which is analog. So that's the next piece, right? So if we all agree, and hopefully you do, if we all agree that the digital system is the master system where everything goes, the servant system basically follows whatever is on the digital and basically will take from it or add to that, right? So this can work in many different ways. As an example, you could have a whiteboard in your office or at home where you like to plan out certain things, and you could have a wall calendar where you like to plan out certain things. You could even have a sheet of paper for the day where you just like to plan out what your ideal day looks like. You can have a sticky note if you're like me. Every now and then you just like to write down like, oh, this is what I'm doing today, or this is what I'm planning to do for tomorrow. Like, analog tools are all over the map, right? It doesn't really matter what you do, but whatever you use and whatever you do, make sure it always ends up back on the master system. So if I'm using a whiteboard, let's say I'm trying to figure out where to go for a vacation. I said, you know what, based on my digital calendar system, it seems like I might have some time in the middle of June to go somewhere. So let's map it out on a whiteboard, or maybe I'm launching a new product or something. You can kind of like timeline everything. Or if you're really big nerd, you can use like a Gantt chart and kind of like map all of the resources. I know some of you guys are out there doing that sort of stuff, which I totally find cool and respectful as well. But whatever you do, make sure whenever you finish that session where you plan all the stuff, that it goes back into your digital calendar, right? So think of your quote unquote clear to neutral action where you just end your session, put stuff back into your digital calendar. So it might take an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to do that. But for a lot of people that I know, and including myself, there's some value in planning stuff on paper, planning it on a whiteboard. There's a lot of free flow to that, and there's a lot of value in doing that. But just make sure, again, one of the top mistakes that we see people make is that they forget to transfer it over to the digital system, right? So if you think of the analog system as the servant system, right, serving the master system, right, it's taking from it or using the information from the master system, then it's a way of like filling in the gaps. Is like probably the best way I can explain it. So I'm trying to take from the master system and I'm trying to put it back into it.